We're going to look at a new symbol. We're going to look at input and output. So if you remember well back into the specification, there are 5 symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the line that we're going to be using. And this one is the data symbol. Whoa, data with, if you can read the bottom there, it says I/O, and we're going to use this for input and output. So that means if we want to print something on the screen, we're going to use this box. If we want to read something in from the keyboard, we're going to use this box. Now we're also going to use this box if we are going to write or read from a file, which we shall look at in a future series. So I'm going to drag this onto the screen. Let's get rid of my VAT box and insert my input output box. There we go. Now I'm going to quickly go over what this is going to do. So if I wanted to print let's start with print, easiest, then we can see something. If I wanted to show something on the screen, I can use several words. I can use the word show, I can use the word display. I'm going to use the word print. I'm going to use the word output, so I know which box I'm using, whether it's input or output. And I'm going to output a variable called name. So that is my initial output. I'm not very satisfied with it because I don't know what name is at the moment, but we will come to that later. So I'm going to hop over now to the pseudocode and show you what that means. We've got the black screens again. There we go. I really need to shrink this box down so that this doesn't destroy half my screen. Right, there we go. So I'm going to write this in pseudocode. Now you need to be careful when you're writing the pseudocode because it's going to look very much like the Python statement. So this one says print, and in open and close brackets, name. So that is the pseudocode for this box. So I've written output name on here. In my pseudocode, I'm writing print name, and if I hop over to Python, I would write exactly the same statement with print name. So that is all the different ways of doing it, starting off with the flowchart, moving over to the pseudocode, and ending with the Python. If you were using Python 3 instead of 2, then it would match the pseudocode exactly. In other words, we'd use these brackets. We're not, we're sticking with Python 2.7, so we don't use the brackets. I've noticed a lot of you actually do put the brackets in. There is nothing wrong with it. However, it's not best practice for Python 2.7. In other languages, we're not even going to use the word print, so please be careful. However, that's not very good. I think you could probably see that we've got a problem. We don't know what name is. So if I tried to save and run that, we would end up with an error. So if I run that in the shell, we end up with an error. There you go. Name is not defined. You should get used to what this error message means. So it's telling me what the variable is, name, and it's saying it's not defined. In other words, I don't know what it is. In other words, we haven't set it up yet. So let's do a proper flowchart and a proper pseudocode for this. And this is really how I want to see all of your flowcharts and pseudocode. So let me get rid of that first. Let's get rid of that. I'll just put an extra arrow on. So first I'm going to need a process box because I need to set name to something, and then I need my output box. So I would do set name equal, in fact I'm just going to use the word to instead of the equal symbol. It really doesn't matter, it's up to you how you do it. So I've got set name to Bob, and then in my output box I'm going to write output, and then it doesn't like when I press enter, output name, and that is the correct way of doing it. So let's move this end out of the way a little bit and pull this line down. Let's put our first statement in and our second statement, join them with lines. Oh, we've already got a line there, it doesn't really matter, let's put another one in. See if I can get rid of the earlier one. I'll make a bit of a hash of this. Let's get rid of them. And that one. And do it again. There we go. So that is our flowchart for our program. So we're going to set name to Bob, and then we're going to output that to whatever device we are playing with, and we shall do that in all the other languages as well. It would be again useful to have a look at all the different ways that or what keyword we use for output. So let's hop over to the pseudocode and write the pseudocode for that. So if you remember, we just do name equals Bob and print name. That's the pseudocode for this flowchart. And if we go to Python, we need just to put in name equals Bob, print name, job done. So if I save that and then run my program, it should just print Bob out to the screen. There we go. So that is our next symbol, the output box or print in pseudocode. So the next one we'll look at is the input box from the keyboard, but you might like to have a look at the various ways this output is used in the different languages.